What's up, guys? Welcome back to CAD. Today we're going to be talking about units, the difference method, writing text, and Legos. Let's get started. First order of business, units. So units, OpenSCAD does not use units. So when you type a 1, it's just 1. The time when you specify units is when exporting. So when you take your file and you export it to be used to be 3D printed, you would then specify whether you're using inches or millimeters. So just keep that in mind as you're working on your project. Know whether you're using millimeters or inches. I would for the class here, we will be using millimeters. Okay, so the difference tool or method. I've written difference, and following difference or any method, we need to have an open and close parentheses. Whether you put something in that or not, it doesn't matter. You have to have that. And then open and close curly braces. And then I'm going to add some space below it. What these curly braces do is they basically extend down and adding many lines, as many as you want, to the difference method. So that kind of allows you to kind of go down instead of having to go just continue along on the same line. Okay, so now we've added a cube inside of the difference method. Don't forget your semicolon. But of course we're not utilizing the difference function just yet since we've only written one object. What we're now going to do is write an object underneath it, and so after that cube that we've just made, and note the difference. And there you have it. So I have gone ahead and added a cube, and it's right there on the edge of the walls, so I don't think it quite has made up its mind whether it's cutting out this section or leaving it. Anyways, you get the idea. Whatever object follows the first is cut out of the first object. Now, I don't want it to be right there. I want to cut out a different section. So we're going to need to apply something that we learned previously, which is the translate method. I want to move that second cube, kind of over so that it makes like a bowl, if you will. And in this case, I am writing out translate just before cube on the same line. So I didn't use curly braces, but you certainly can. If you wanted to have the cube on the next line down. So as you can see here, I've made a beautiful, isn't that just fantastic? Look at that. And it's like a bowl, right? Something to bear in mind is that this is the same cube, right? So it's only 5, 5, 5. The translate, the first spot is your X. Your second spot is your Y, and your third is your Z. You can see X, Y, Z right down here. Okay, so that is the difference method. Now let's talk about writing text. Before I move on, I zoomed in on the text so that way you could see it a little bit more clearly. And guys, it couldn't get more simple than that. There is how to write text. You simply say text, and inside of the open and close parentheses, you write your text. Now, there are other things you can do with text, which let's look at for just a moment. So head on over to help and then cheat sheet. So here we have in the 2D section text, and there's a lot of different things that we can mess around with. So far, we have assigned a value to t, which then is text. And then we've also we've seen haline in one of the other assignments, and that one was basically whether it helps you to orient the text, because a lot of this is knowing, when you position something, you got to know from what point of that object you're positioning it, because, well, obviously that's how you'll position it. So haline is an alternate method. It basically sets the 0 point from which you'll be measuring it or orienting it to the center of the horizontal, and then the V-align you can kind of imagine is the vertical. So if you had text like this, then it'll you could have the origin at the very center. Now, whether you want that or not, that is up to you to decide. Now we got size here, and that is also very important. And so here you have, I've specified a size. Now be sure to actually write out the variable that you're assigning the value to, because if you just said 3, then it wouldn't know whether you're referring to size or Haline, whatever, you'll have an error. But so I've set here the size to 3, and it shrinks it. Let's say if we go back to, well, if we just go to 10, for instance, F5 also renders it, and there you have example. Sorry, you have a bigger text. Okay, that brings us to our final item of discussion, which is the Lego brick. I want you for your assignment to recreate this Lego brick. Now, of course, you're going to have a cube, you're going to have a cylinder, and you're going to write Lego on top. Inside, do not forget, inside of that cube, it is hollow. So make sure that also looks hollow. You don't have to hollow out the inside of the cylinder. I don't know if it is or isn't. But there's your dimensions right there, right there. Now, in this picture here, we do see that it is kind of cut away inside, and you also get the width of the walls, which is 1.6 millimeters. So bear that in mind. I want to see 1.6 millimeter walls and just this little cube right here. So get to it, guys. And as always, if you have questions, let me know.